Hello, group. Welcome to Action Rock Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, a tribute to Bowie by Jem Records. Jem Records been around, well, according to my search, Jem Records has been around for 55 years. I couldn't pin down where Jem Records is from. The American or the English, I'm not sure. Gave me the name of the label founder. I could have Googled him and it would have told me, but oddly enough, even going to Bandcamp, they don't have a section for Jem Records on Bandcamp, and there's some other label that steals the name, and it's not them. So, never mind that. Is this good? Yes. How can you screw up David Bowie? What Jem Records does is that, and this is maybe the fifth, sixth, whatever tribute record or celebrate record that they've released. In the past, they've done Ray Davies from the Kinks, Jagger and Richards, the Stones, John Lennon, Pete Townsend from the Who, and Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And they promote their bands by having their bands do a cover song of whatever the featured artist is. And it sucks in people like me. Because I want to hear a David Bowie tribute record. Heck yeah. I want to check it out. And so I get all the bands signed to Jem Records doing a David Bowie cover. The one band I was familiar with somewhat that does the first song, the Crip Reeds, which is a garage rock band. And I've been holding off on reviewing their record this year. They do Space Oddity. Of course, Space Oddity is the first song on the collection. Just to digress for a second, don't be put off by the illustration on the cover. Yeah, it's a little cartoony, but it's effective and oddly appropriate for the garage rock pop music covers you're going to find here. Because basically that's what these bands are. And basically that's the kind of songs they cover from Bowie, as you'll hear. So Space Oddity is the first song by the Crip Reeds from New Jersey. I gotta check out the Crip Reeds. The next song, Hang On to Yourself, from Ziggy Stardust album. That's done by Paul Collins, of Paul Collins' Beat, as his band name is. I've heard of Paul Collins' Beat. Don't remember a whole lot why I remember it. I think I read references to the band because they're old band and cool. Here's a song that I kept. This is a deep cut, okay? Because the first two songs, they're hits. This is not a hit. This is an early David Bowie song from his band, The Lower Third. And it's a power pop version. I don't know what the original is. The original may well be power pop too. Can't help thinking about me. I really like this song. This is cool. It's a nice power pop by the Sins. C as in cat, Y-N-X. Sins. And I really like that. I should check out the Sins and see if they have a new record out. But can't help thinking about me. That was, I think if I remember, I didn't note the year. I believe that was a 1966 single by David with his band, The Lower Third. That I really like that song. It's cool. That's a keeper for my YouTube music likes to listen to later. Next song is Kooks. Excuse me. I'm filming this early in the morning. I'm now a morning person. Kooks by the On-and-Ons. And that is a Honky Dory song from the Honky Dory album. And pretty cool. The other song I kept, Boys Keep Swinging, from the Lodger record. I really like that song. I bought Lodger during the pandemic when I bought up my David Bowie to keep my sanity during the pandemic and the shutdowns. And I'm not that, I don't know, I like Lodger well enough. It did make that much, but I really love that song. That's followed by a hit, a real hit, I'm Afraid of Americans. Now we're getting almost to the 21st century. That's a 90s song from the Earthling record. I think it's fair to say I'm Afraid of Americans is the last true David Bowie hit. And you even get a lyric video on YouTube for I'm Afraid of Americans. And it's less mechanical. Because of course that was David Bowie's foray into industrial music with 9 Inch Nails. Trent Reznor. Shout out to homeboy, Cleveland homeboy, Trent Reznor, who was raised a bit west of me, and his first concerts is a bit north of me, directly north, in Lakewood, Ohio. So that, a bit less mechanical. You may prefer that version of I'm Afraid of Americans, done by the Airport 77s, which is a reference to a disaster movie or a thriller movie, set in an airport in 1977. That's followed by Martin Love by the High Frequencies, the big hit when David Bowie became a pop star for a second there. Then Changes, another song by Honky Dory, by the Midnight Callers. Diamond Dogs, and you really get to hear the lyrics clearly by the Weaklings. Not weak with an A, week as in weekly, every week, lings. And they do Diamond Dogs, the title track of that album. Starman, a live version of Starman by Richard Barone. And there's a video of the live performance. And that's, of course, is from the Ziggy Stardust record. And then the last song, appropriately enough, is Heroes. Because really, can you follow Heroes with anything? No. It's Heroes. If you do a decent version of Heroes, and this is a decent version, by Nick Biunti and the Complicated Men. I'm going to say his last name properly. Biunti. Hey. As they say in Italian. Hey. At least American Italians. Hey. Sopranos. The Godfather. Those guys. I think this is Italian, right? So, good version. Not an amazing version. But it's solid. Just made me hungry to hear, and I try not to do this. I try to go back to the beginning to listen to the album again and listen to this multiple times before I tape and a review. But it made me hungry to hear Motorhead's cover of Heroes. Because, man, that kills. Lemmy killed. And Phil. And Mickey D. They killed on their version of Heroes. This is good here on this record, but it doesn't kill like Lemmy. Of course, nothing would kill like Lemmy kills. But this is cool to listen to. So if you're a Bowie fan, and we lost Bowie, 10 years ago, right? And you're hungry for fresh takes of Bowie, this is a really cool record to check out. Whether you want to buy it or not, it's a new day. Don't have to buy anything, unfortunately. But if you're a completist, I think you need to buy this. If you're one of those people under the curse of buying everything by David Bowie, this is cool. You just want to hear it. Fresh take on Bowie for a day like I did. This is really good and highly recommended. And like I said, I saved 2 of the songs. Can't help thinking about me. You don't know that song, casual David Bowie fans. I got a nice little stack of David Bowie CDs, but I'm not hardcore. Like I said, I just completed my collection during the pandemic to keep my sanity. But that's a really cool song, as done by the Sins. Okay? That's really cool. And Boys Keep Swinging, which is was not a huge hit for Bowie, in my memory. Maybe I'm wrong. But that is a cool song. And the Anderson Council, their version of Boys Keep Swinging, which is, in my mind, a commentary on male privilege. Or certain, upper class boy privilege. Which I don't believe David Bowie was upper class, was he? But he played at it later in life. With the supermodel wife and the whole bit. God bless David Bowie. Rest in peace. Rest in power, David Bowie. And that's a cool collection. Check it out here on YouTube. Jem Records celebrates David Bowie. And YouTube does have the other celebration collections by Jem Records. I should check. Is there a Jem Records celebration channel? Because I should subscribe to that in case they do another collection like this next year. Yeah, and they like I mentioned before, nice pop music celebrations. The Kinks, the Rolling Stones, Lennon, The Who, Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys. I get you not check that out. At least one time through, if you like your pop music. If you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe to Action Rock Corner, ring the notification bell, and listen. Go in YouTube Music and find Jem Records celebrates David Bowie. And come back. And what do you think? Did that freshen up your love of David Bowie? It did me. And for the latest in action rock, garage rock, punk, psychobilly, rockabilly, and classic and legacy acts like David Bowie, come back here to Action Rock Corner. We'll have it for you. Thanks for watching. Remember, fresh music is as important as fresh food. Can't keep listening to those same versions, the original versions of David Bowie for 50 years. Can you? You're allowed. It's America. It's a free world. Wherever you are in the world. You're kind of free to do it. Don't know your particular territory or country, but I'm in America, and for the moment, I'm free. Still, unless ICE knocks down my door to check my papers, I'm free to love this seal record and listen to a fresh take of David Bowie. Screw the man. Screw the fascists. Heroes is an appropriate song in America in 2025. No kings, baby. So, thank you again for watching. See you again soon.